Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, my family. Welcome, 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 welcome to the Mental House. It's crazy up in here with your host, Khadija. How y'all doing? Well, I'm hoping that each and every one of you is fine on this Thursday. I believe it's the 25th day of May. So, I want to thank God for being on this side of the dirt, and I'm sure you all are doing the same thing. Okay, the reason why I came this afternoon to do this video is because I really want to talk about fear. Fear. And a lot of times when people we think about just how messed up we are with fear, talking about our relationships. This whole country is built off of propaganda and to keep you forever fearful, stop you from moving forward, to have you always thinking that you can't do something. Because if you got that mindset, then the enemy can continually perpetuate things against you. Now, as we know that this country is supposed to be a big melting pot. It's an experiment, actually. It's an experiment to see if you can have all types of people living in one particular place at peace. Well, it seems like a very, very beautiful dream and a very, very good idea. But when you start breaking it down into how you want to achieve that goal, and when it becomes, well, we're going to steal people from Africa, and then we're going to enslave the ones that are already here that have been walking around as freemen, we're all of a sudden going to identify these indentured servants by color, and we're never going to let them get away from it because you can't escape the skin you're in. And what we're going to do is we're going to have them become the octane or the fuel to drive capitalism. Okay, so for some people, this is going to be a very, very economically a positive situation. And then for others who have been deemed the wrong color skin, it's going to be a freaking nightmare. So I always like to use this analogy. And that is, there's a big, beautiful elephant. And you know how the children love elephants. And as long as you are sitting in front of the elephant, you have the opportunity to give him peanuts, give him marshmallows, watch him scoop them up, and eat them. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful sight to watch the big, enormous animal eat from that trunk that he uses like fingertips. However, if you just go around the bend, there are some people that are sitting directly behind this elephant, and all they're able to see is the shit running down the elephant's back end. You see that tail going up and all kinds of crap and stuff just falling down in their face, and they smell it, and they just have to stand there in this position. They're not able to get around to the side. They're not able to get around to the left side, and they're not able to get around to the right side. They have to stand directly behind this anus hole and watch all this crap plop down, plop down, plop down in their faces. And there's a segment of society, like the ones that's in the front, they want you to be content with the vision. There's a few lucky ones of us who have broke loose from the back of the booty, maybe have been pushed extremely, and you might make it to the side. But somehow the way the stacked and the chips are stacked and the way the deck is loaded, you can never be in the front. You can never, even though you may make it as far to that front as possible, the fact that you are identified by your color means you will never ever have the same benefits and graces as the control group. Okay? So, I don't believe God made any mistakes, and I believe that he made me free. I believe he made us equal, and I believe he made us all whole. I believe it is man who wants to inflict his madness upon others and then get mad when they don't want to conform to the bullshit that he's trying to push down on their spirit. So as Africans, and being here by virtue of a kidnap, and it's a crime, we have to conform and repress and suppress all our emotions and feelings from the control group, or either assimilate to a point where they'll feel safe being around you, even though it is their ancestors who's committed the atrocities against you. So you have to go out of your way to make them feel comfortable. I guess that's why I was so, and I know I'm going off the bend a little bit. That's why I was so pissed off at that comment that Lee Daniels made when he said he wanted to make white people feel comfortable. I've never heard nothing so damn stupid in my entire life. And y'all excuse me, I got a little emotional. But for him to say that he wants to make white people feel comfortable and they the rulers, I don't understand it, how he can even fix his mouth to say he can go out of his way to do that. And now, it's bad enough that I know you want to stay away from identifying yourself with black people, and that's all right, because that's what most of us do when we get to a position of accolades, or people giving us accolades or acknowledgement. We'd be ashamed to be black, and of course we don't want to be black out loud, but we don't want to talk about it because we're so afraid to going back to those conditions. Well, there are some of us who, no matter what lot we're given in life, we resound ourselves to speak the truth. And so that means you have to speak it to power sometimes. And you have to speak it for injustice. And you have to speak it with confidence and conviction. Okay? And it's just that simple. And yes, people are going to get hurt. The feelings are going to be upset. In fact, a lot of white people that I know, when it comes to real iffy and sketchy subjects like this, they want to stay away from it because it makes them feel safe. Well, yeah, it's okay because you don't have a high infant mortality rate. So it's okay for you not to want to talk about, and for you to tell me to keep my mind on a different plane than what my reality is. You know, I have to figure out a way to do both and be balanced. There's no way in the world I know in my soulless of soul, the intelligence of my soul, that there's no color. However, that's not the plane that I live on, and that's not the way the world that I live in operates. So there's a spiritual world, and then there's a reality world. There's a world that's carnal, the world that I have to operate in and maneuver in. And then that one is full of white supremacists, it's full of devils and demons and white people who just don't like black people. To make it that simple. Not all, but there's some, and in a significant amount. And even if they have a love for black people, they're complicit in our abuse and mistreatment. So what does that mean? So I lump them with the rest of them. I mean, and I'm saying that because fear. However, it may be unfair because fear is what stops a lot of people from telling the truth. Fear is what stops us from dealing with reality. Fear is it's a phenomenon that can make you stuck and will prevent you from mobilizing yourself. And it's something that is really damaging to the human psyche. And I know because the times that I've ran and traveled in fear is because I knew I had to make a choice and I couldn't be lukewarm or cold. And then fear was to know that I had to make a decision and stand on it with confidence and know that this is it. Like Kenny Loggins says, there have been times in my life when I've been wondering why. But still somehow I knew I always survive. But now I'm not so sure. You know what I'm saying? All right. I want to talk about fear. And in saying that, I thought I'd bring Sister Dorothy Tillman, who talked about the fear that black people experience today as opposed to the day that she marched across that Pettit Bridge and had scars on her body. Her and Dr. King and what's his name, James, Farmer. I mean, not James Farmer. What's the little guy's name out of Atlanta? Y'all know who I'm talking about. The little congressman. Where they all got beat up on that Pettit Bridge. But I thought she did a real good job of defining how what it meant when we had Barack Obama as president and black people being bamboozled again because we don't want to face reality. Reality that nobody cares about what we're going through. Nobody wants to deal with the fact that we've been driven mad through slavery. The science project that were black people has gone awry, and half of us have been driven crazy. They know that. They do experiment with rats all the time, so they know what will happen when they put people in these kind of conditions. But what I wanted to do is I wanted y'all to hear the Sister Dorothy Tillman speak. And of course, yeah, it sounds like a little churchy vernacular, but I want y'all to listen to her powerful words about how she marched against fear. And today, people are afraid. They're afraid to even mobilize themselves because of fear. Y'all got the nerve to talk about the people of old. One thing they wasn't cowards. We dealing with a lot of cowards today. Because they'd rather give you a pie in the sky dream or have you think that all these things will make you free. And when I say free, I mean all of us. I can't say that I'm free when I'm watching babies drop dead every day and don't speak up for those babies. I can't do it. Some of y'all are compelled to. You do it very well, but I can't. So let's listen to Sister Dorothy Tillman, and y'all tell me what y'all think.
Chicago's own Dorothy Wright Tillman. Sister Dorothy, I come to you now following Dr. Malveau's brilliant presentation on how we are faring, or not, as it were, in this economy, what the stimulus is or is not doing, has or has not done for black life in America. I come to you because, in love, at the center of this table, one of the questions it seems to me we have to earnestly wrestle with is how we do this when so many black folk think that to raise these issues is to hate on the president, to give him a hard time, to be unfair to him. He inherited all this stuff from Bush. He's got a lot on his plate. You hear these arguments. You're a former alderman. You're on the radio here in Chicago every day. You have wrestled with these issues. You knew Barack Obama before he first ran for office. You took him around Chicago, introduced him to people to help him get elected to the Illinois State Senate here. But this question is real. How do you have this kind of conversation? How do you raise these issues when people think, too many of our people think, that to raise these issues is hating on the president?
You know, Dr. King said we'd take the moral authority. It's been 40 years since they murdered Dr. King. So we are wandering around in the wilderness, and it's time to come out. Now, I think that we have a responsibility to bring the question to the President of the United States. I don't care what color he is, because that's when you're dealing with the content of the character. It's not the color of the man. It's about what's going on with our people. When we look at black people today, and I come from the South, come out of the Civil Rights Movement, I have never in my life, even in Jim Crow, we're in a new era of Jim Crow and Black Code, I've never seen black folks so fearful.
What'd you say? Fearful?
Scared.
You've never seen black folks so fearful and scared.
And scared.
You're scared.
Black folks are in pain. And this is the first time since we've been in this country that we've been in pain and didn't know what to do about it. I was scared to do something about it. We marched that night because we wanted to break the fear. I remember a white man called me on my radio station one day. He said, Dorothy, if I'd have known all I had to do to keep you quiet was to get a black president, I would have been got one.
Wow.
That's very profound.
Yes, it is.
Barack is president of the United States of America. We have to understand what Barack says he believes. So we can't get angry at him, Dr. Mavo, when he says the rising tide will lift our boat, because that's where he was raised. That's not to put anything on him. The descendants of enslaved Africans in America have a different experience.
When are we going to deal with that?
First of all, we're the only group of people in this country that did not voluntarily come here. We are forced immigrants. We're also the only group of people in this country that the American government made laws against to keep in bondage. America, one thing about America, they love to talk about stuff. They said, let's talk about it. You talk about it, you get it out, you get it out.
Until you talk
but
about
when
what
it
they
comes to
don't
the
wanna hear.
black, enslaved and black people, they say, shut up. Be quiet. Don't talk about it, because blacks, we are America's dirty little secret, as Dr. Claude Anderson say. And America don't want to deal with the whole question of reparation, repair, and the damage. Here we have a black president. We have Congressman Conyers, who's over the Judiciary Committee. And we can't even get H.R. 40 out just for a study of slavery. Something is wrong with that. When we talk about unemployment, Dr. Mavo, there's a reason why black unemployment, other than racism and systematically what they've done to us, is so high. It's because the government and black people hire more black people than anybody. If you don't have businesses, you can't hire black people. When you look at our communities are being gentrified. People are being spread out all over the place to keep moving. But you be quiet. You don't talk about the fact that your schools, in the city of Chicago, they gave the Latino community $98 million to build a school. They closed black schools in the city of Chicago. But don't talk about it.
Be quiet. Be quiet.
The President of the United States have a Department of Education for Hispanics. We need a Department of Education for black people too. I'm not knocking them. And he has someone over that. When he talks about urban affairs, when most of your urban cities, Detroit, Gary, Chicago, Ohio, Philadelphia, are black people, he put a Latina, Hispanic over that, and never even put a black, just to balance that out. Do we not supposed to talk about that? Now, I don't get mad about the Tea Party. They doing what they're supposed to do. We supposed to do what we supposed to do.
But we can't because we scared. And we like prosperity gospel. We believe that's what's going to move this country forward. It's not going to do it. We got to confront the beast. And just like our ancestors before, we're going to die. But we're going to die trying.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it in
We're
love.
dying anyway.
In love, in love.
We're dying anyway.
With the moral authority.
Everybody say in love. Say it again. One more again. Go on, Sister
But
Dorothy.
this is all
Now
in
we
love.
lose that moral authority, Reverend Jackson. You know, we both come from Dr. King, Dr. King brought me to Chicago. I'm from Montgomery, Alabama, grew up in the struggle. I don't understand. I don't get to be 62 years old with scars on my body from being on Edmund Pettus Bridge, fighting for the rights of black folks, and be quiet when black folks are being oppressed today. Oh. No way. Dr. King said that if you don't deal with truth, you lose the moral authority. Blacks can never afford to lose the moral authority in this United States of America. If you lose it, you lose. Now, the truth of the matter is, and people they call my show, President Obama is not addressing the black agenda. Now President Obama have been told that it's all right not to address our agenda.
Right. Yeah. Who told him that?
Oprah.
So if you don't address them, don't worry about it, because they're going to be quiet.
That's right. When you say he's been told that, who told him that?
He's been told by the little birds in his ears. Because we are so happy to have a black face in the White House that we have to get back in our place where they had us before. Now let me tell you, I refuse, and I teach my children, and for the youth who's out there watching today, I grew up in the civil rights movement, and it's been young people who have really moved this movement. And if we don't stand and be strong, we cannot make our young people cowards by being quiet.
That's why I love young
we
people.
Just can't do that.
They got the spirit.
It is not about anybody around this table, Tavis. It's not about us. It is about our future.
Right.
It is about our children. It is about our communities. We live in what you call representative government. Now, what makes me upset is that we work and put black folks in office, and they say, I can't deal with that. I can't deal with that. That's too black. Now, everybody thinks that something is wrong with you. Don't you know that everybody in this country and in the world expected the president to deal with the black agenda? The Irishmen deal with the agenda. The Italians deal with their agenda. The Latino deal with their agenda. That's just natural. When Harold Washington was mayor, Harold Washington said, because I love black folks don't mean I hate anybody else.
Right. That's right. Dorothy Tillman, Chicago's own. And the church said,
and like I said, since we like church so much, we could end it with a little just Ashe. I thought it was important for me to play that this afternoon because where this country is headed, I don't know. But it don't look good. It doesn't look good. It doesn't look good at all for poor people. And it doesn't look good for my counterparts. And it doesn't look good when you're in the oppressed group. And unless you totally isolate yourself from the rest of your world, you almost is like a person without a country. Because, of course, white racism won't allow you to be treated equally. And then you have alienated yourself from your black counterparts, so now you can never be comfortable around them. So it's almost like you will become a person without a country. So we're going to have to figure out that poor people have more in common than we think. But that's okay if we don't understand that. And for those of y'all who put Trump in office, you're going to see in a minute just how devastating his presidency really is, and how detrimental it's probably going to be for all of us. But for us and for my clan, I have to say, still, we have to break the fear. It is the fear of the unknown, whatever it is in your life, whether it's fear of confronting your narcissist, whether it's fear of confronting a bully, whether it's fear of confronting racism, guess what? You got to confront it. Just for the record, Dr. King never wanted to be the spokesperson for the a Southern Leadership Conference. He never wanted to be SLC. Is that what it's called? He never wanted to be the leader. He didn't. In fact, he was afraid because it was a real trying time. But had he not stood out and did the work that he had to do to fight against fear, we would never be where we are today. And as a society and as a world, y'all would have never been graced with the beauty of the King of Love. And to be able to appreciate, no matter what color you are, for somebody to stand up for love like that, and for unity like that, for all mankind, to dismiss him will really be a travesty. And to not continue to fight would be an even bigger travesty as far as I'm concerned. So with that being said, I'm going to go. I just wanted y'all to really hear Sister Dorothy Tillman today. And tell me what you think of that. Leave your comments below, okay? If you like what you hear, please subscribe. And I'm going to see you next time right here in the Mental House. Bye-bye.